Wow, that tastes cheap. It's an 80-degree day here in the beer garden in front of the Grand Fig and the fireless pit. And if you're here because you like beer, and let's be honest, why else would you be watching this channel? Please tap that subscribe button down below because I have low self-esteem and approval from strangers on the internet makes me feel a lot better about myself. I thank you for that. And thank you for telling me where you are viewing from, town and state or town and country. As a matter of fact, I genuinely love to read where my viewers are, and I made a note on the back of my sold-out Beer Snob's Cheap Brew Review coaster set. Lindley, New York, thanks for checking out the Brew Review. St. Joseph, Missouri, Cincinnati, Ohio, and let's go to America's Hats, Canada, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Thank you for checking out the Brew Review, and thank you for all your views, sub, and support, and your super thanks. If you look down below, next to the subscribe, there is a heart with a $sign in it. That's super thanks, and you can donate to this channel. We turn that money right back around into the beer and the gear to make more of these videos. So as little as $1 or as much as you want, tap that super thanks. We appreciate your views, sub, and supports. And up this round, we are going to Jamaica, man. 4.7% alcohol, red stripe. Totally forgot I did this brew. This is technically a revisit. Somebody watched the first review I did of Red Stripe. It was to date, it was like 4 years ago. Totally forgot I even did it. So I was like, it's time for a revisit. It's been 4 years. Beer changes sometimes, depending on the brewer. As we get older, our bodies change, and so our tastes change. So it's been 4 years, and so it's time for another Red Stripe Brew Review. To color coordinate things, of course, we're drinking it out of the sold-out Red Label Beer Snob's Cheap Brew Review pint glass, to be complemented by the red leather patch Richardson's trucker cap for the Red Stripe Mon. Let's go ahead and pop the top and see what we got. Thank you again for your super thanks, your views, sub, and support. Red Stripe, Jamaica Man. Reminds me of some stories I had from Jamaica. I'll have to tell you one coming up in just a minute involving my brother-in-law. I guess I can tell you right now while we're pouring. We land in Ocho Rios, Jamaica, and the first thing my brother-in-law tells me, whatever you do, don't leave me. And so as soon as we got into town, I immediately took off and left him. But there was a market there, and there were all these Rastafarian guys trying to sell us drugs, of course. And I was wearing a t-shirt that said, "Skankin' it easy," just like the Bob Marley song. And my brother-in-law was wearing a t-shirt that said "Hot Moms." So everywhere we're walking in town, the people who were trying to sell us drugs were going, "Hey, Skankin' and Hot Moms, Skankin' and Hot Moms, come over here." I was like, "Nope, we're good, we're fine. No, it's Skankin' it easy and Hot Moms, come on over here." So that was our official Jamaican names, Skankin' it easy and Hot Moms. So could be a new series on Netflix. I don't know, could be. There's the pour, rather unimpressive. Now, originally Red Stripe brewed in Jamaica. A number of years ago, for some god-awful reason, they decided to cut corners, and they either brewed it in Canada or in New York. I don't remember which it was. It totally changed the taste of it. It was awful. And then I guess they realized the error of their ways and went back to Jamaica. This is one of them 11.2 ounces, 330 milliliters. So for every 6-pack or every 12-pack, I think you're losing about a half a beer because it's one of these little foreign milliliter bottles. And 11.2 ounces. All right, time for the nose, shall we? The nose on this hot day. It reminds me of Jamaica. It's not terribly humid, but there's a light breeze, and it's hot today for some strange reason. So for the nose, wow. There's nothing island about that, nothing Jamaican about that. Really, it just smells like a typical, like a Miller Lite, maybe. Warm cantaloupe, day old steamed broccoli that's been sitting in the refrigerator, you know. and then that real cheap college town bar smell. Yeah, what did I say? 95.3% water. Let me know what brew you're enjoying while you're watching this video. And again, please, town and state, town and country where you're viewing from. And thank you for tapping the super thanks also. Time for the liquid to hit the lips. Time to get Irie Man. Skankin' it easy. Hot moms. Some back tongue taste of ashtray. Wow, that tastes cheap. Is it a cheap brew? I got a 6-pack for $8.99. But wow, it does have that kind of sort of a flat, cheap college town bar taste to it. I was in Athens, Georgia, where I went to the University of Georgia. I was there for the spring football game, and we hit up one of the staple Little Italy, little pizza place right there in town, and they still have college beer prices. That's what this reminds me of. They had up on the big board there $7 pitchers of Miller and $9 pitchers of Terrapin, which is an Athens, Georgia local brew. But yeah, this tastes like something that you would pay $5, $6, $7 for a pitcher of it. I'm going to be rating this out of 5 stars. How good a cheap brew is it? In coming up right at the end of this video, Hot Moms and Skankin' it easy. And I remember when I was in Jamaica, one of the first bars we went into, they of course pulled up the bottle. You know, of course they pulled out. You got to have a red stripe. You know, drink like the locals do. And they said, it was my first time in Jamaica. And they said that, oh, welcome to Jamaica. We got to give you, I think they called it a steel drum, where they pour the red stripe into a glass, and then they take a shot glass with one of these Jamaican what do they call it? Overproofed rum, where it's kerosene. It's just, and they drop the shot in there and you got to chug it. And thank God there was some beer, because that overproof rum, the white overproof rum, it set my guts on fire. It just burned the whole way down. Got your Irie real fast though. After it's just, if you've ever wondered what it felt like, just somebody turning your guts inside out and then flapping it in the wind. That's kind of what the steel drum drink is there in Jamaica. But I digress. So out of 5 stars, 5 being a very good, cheap brew, not that cheap, $8.99. It's an import, but it tastes like something you could pay a lot less. Out of 5 stars, it's not awful. I've had worse, but you're coming in less than 5% alcohol. If in order to put up with that taste, it has to have higher alcohol than that. And because of that, I'm going to put you down for a 1.75 out of 5 stars. So, hey, thank you again for your views, sub, and support. Thank you for tapping that super thanks also. Before you tap on another cheap brew review here, be sure to let me know what town and state, town and country you are viewing from. And I got a ton more brew reviews here. I would appreciate it if you would check it out, share with your friends, tell some people about it. And hey, it's a beautiful day here, almost Jamaica-like here in the beer garden in front of the Grand Fig and the fireless pit. So why don't you go grab yourself a beer and you drink that beer. Irie Man, Hot Moms, Skankin' it easy. Cheers.